Fresh hopes emerged today for an early resolution of the disagreement between organized labor and the federal government following the former suspension of the indefinite strike action for 1 week. However, hinging their position on past experience, some Nigerians have expressed regret over the suspension, insisting that the strike should have continued alongside the negotiations. Labour had commenced the strike at 12 midnight on Sunday, following the collapse of the negotiations with representatives of the federal government over its demand for a new national minimum wage and the reversal of the current electricity rate. The commencement of the indefinite strike had led to a total shutdown of activities in the country, including the national grid and other essential services, particularly the banking sector. The suspension of the strike came after the federal government and the organized labor reached a tentative agreement on the new national minimum wage on Monday night, with a resolution to continue engaging daily for the next 1 week at the level of the tripartite committee on national minimum wage until a final agreement was reached. We are here at the FCTA Secretariat to know the latest development on the ongoing strike. News reaching us right now says that the strike is being relaxed for a period of 5 days. We've been able to speak with a number of the unionists who have expressed their dissatisfaction on the relaxation of the strike. Speaking on the latest development, Comrade Rifkatu Iyotie, President, Joint Union Action Committee of FCTA, who affirmed the suspension, said that the news reaching them was that the strike action had been relaxed to give room for further negotiation. She attributed Labour's rethink to the plight of the people and the effect of total shutdown of the economy, just as she expressed optimism that the results would be fruitful. Iyotie's optimism may not be misplaced, as reports have it that after the meeting with the federal negotiating team for several hours Tuesday evening, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had directed Finance Minister Wole Edun to present a new minimum wage template within 2 days.
We just got the message that it has been relaxed for 5 days. It's not been called off, it has been relaxed to give room for more negotiation. I think something very fruitful will emerge, and Labour being sensitive to the plight of the country, and you can see that the economy is totally shut down. I'm sure it's based on that play that they decide to relax it for 5 days, but we're not calling off.
Arguing that other sectors and some agencies earned much more than what the workers were demanding, she dismissed the popular notion that the proposed minimum wage was unrealistic.
If it is unrealistic or they feel it's too high, it's not that it's unrealistic, it's just too high according to them. But we know there are other sectors, bodies in Nigeria that go home with so much more. So we know that it's not that it is not affordable to the government. They're just saying it's too high. But for us, we're still waiting on that, and we're not giving up.
You know, actually, Nigerians will not understand much, but I believe as of today, this morning, so many people understand what we're applying for. You understand? So as time goes on, Nigeria will come to realize what we're doing. We're doing it for the nation entirely, not only we as workers. You understand? We're fighting for the nation entirely.
Also speaking on the realistic nature of the NLC proposed minimum wage, Comrade Oluwakorede Matilukuro said that all the government needed to do was to go back to the drawing table. He noted that if the economy was stable, the masses and the union won't be clamoring for a high minimum wage. He further said that the strike, no matter how short, really passed their message across to the government, and that they were optimistic that the federal government would do the needful.
But because we are civil servants, that's why it's not affordable. There are so many ways you can achieve that vision and dream. For instance, they could agree at a particular amount of money. Issue of accommodation in Nigeria, in FCT, is an issue. Why is government not looking at that direction? Issue of transportation is an issue. So many promises have been made in addition to the gas vehicle they are bringing in. So on that basis, what we are saying is that beyond even the negotiation, government should begin to look at the system as a workable system. I think, for instance, when the president himself said that he's not only going to give Nigerians a minimum wage, he's going to give us a living wage, and he's coming to negotiate 60,000. Then I begin to look at the definition of minimum wage vis-a-vis living wage, and that you will be able to juxtapose and conclude within the conscience of your mind that the government is not serious. The government is just playing around the mind of the civil servant.
The Secretary, Association of Senior Civil Servants, Comrade Umar Salisu Mohammed, added that the strike was for the benefit of the masses and that with time they would understand its importance. He said the push by the unions was for the government to come up with a reasonable amount for the minimum wage and not necessarily the proposed amount by the unions. However, not every unionist agrees with the relaxation of the strike. To some, it would have been better if the strike continued, even as negotiation was ongoing.
Let me say any much development there. Now small development, the small development be say, say as it be like this, we will rely on our leaders for up that side. And the leaders for up from the fillers when we get now say make we relax the situation for like 5 days so that they go fit negotiate with the federal government so that make we know the way forward. But for me, I'm not happy with their decision. I don't lie you. I'm not happy with their decision. Because they say now only ones that they deceive are this federal government don't they deceive we civil servants. Deceive us. I don't know why our leaders no one learn from this their deceitful acts when they do them. Now you don't say this now strike when we say everybody willingly put body. Now you don't they tell us now make we relax.
When asked on their readiness to resume the strike if the tripartite body failed to reach an agreement after the period of relaxation, the NCNCO chairman, Comrade Emmanuel, said that they might not be willing to come out as strong as they did initially, noting that everybody was really ready and obliged to the strike by NLC. Following the relaxation of the strike, it was observed that many of the government agencies and ministries were still shut as work was yet to resume as at the time of filing this report. Furthermore, security agents were observed opening the entrance of the FCTA secretariat. While some banks and the Federal Secretariat are still under lock and key, some within the Gwarinpa axis were seen to have resumed operations. Sampling the views of some people on the latest development, many of them commended the NLC for relaxing the strike. They said the industrial action had crumbled the economy and that any further strike would cause more damage. They pleaded with the federal government to reach an agreement with the labor union, whom they advised to step down their demand so the tripartite body could reach a consensus.
The call of the indefinite strike by the labor union is a welcome development in the sense that an incessant strike it doesn't augur well for development, and also it causes a lot of hardship. The call of the strike is a welcome development. Considering the present economic situation in the country, I think it's realistic if the government is really ready. For I believe we have the resources as a nation. Because if you consider the wages of a Nigerian worker with other African countries, I think the wages of our civil servant is too meager. So the demand is realistic.
I believe there must be an agreement for them to shift ground and it's a good one, so that other things might not spoil. So the calling of the strike is okay for me. If really what labor is looking for and government can able to meet up with, why not? And we expect that. I know that the strike won't be more than 3 days, except the government are not sensitive.
Anyebo Ebere reporting for True Vision Online TV, the platform that democratizes the media space. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.